Welcome back, everybody. Chad Ferguson here, Catfish Edge, and I am in the process of getting my boat ready for fall and winter fishing. The heat has finally broken here in Texas, and starting to feel like fall. We've had a few mornings where it's been down in the mid to high 50s, and water temperatures are starting to drop. That has put me in the mood for some fall and winter catfishing. So I'm in the process of doing my kind of annual fall fishing prep that I do. Basically, I just kind of go through all my gear and repair reels and clean them, and clean the boat real good and make sure everything's working right with all my equipment. And a lot of times that involves kind of switching gears with the methods that I'm fishing with, and techniques that I'm using, and some little changes in gear, because we primarily use a couple of techniques in the summertime, and then fishing to or switching to fall and winter. I typically fish very different than I do in the summer. So back last spring, I took the rod rack off the boat, and I'm in the process of putting it back on here now. So I had a lot of questions over the last year since I've been fishing out of this 2016 ProCat 240. People asking me about rod racks in general, what I think about them, where I got this one, who makes it, all that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about rod racks today while I was putting this on the boat. You can see this thing's got cobwebs all over it. It's been sitting in my storage unit in the barn there for 6 months, I guess. So it's got cobwebs all over it, hadn't been used. Again, just put it back on the boat. But this is called Cat Rack, made by SeaArk for SeaArk boats. SeaArk Cat Rack, rod rack. So I've never had a rod rack on any of my catfish boats before, and the thing that always kept me from using one was the fact that I knew that there would be a limited time period that I would use it, because a lot of times, I would go extended periods of time without fishing off the back of the boat, and I didn't want the thing in the way all the time. Everything that I had seen up until SeaArk building the Cat Rack was rod racks that required that they had to be permanently mounted. So you had to drill some holes in the boat, bolt them in, and they're basically there unless you want to go through a whole lot of hassle of taking them off. SeaArk came up with this design, and I realized, as soon as they did, I wanted to give it a try. They had already built it for this boat anyway, for something else that they were doing, but I wanted to give it a try, see how I liked it. And fishing last fall and winter, a lot of times having the Cat Rack on the boat really came in handy. Fishing off the back of the boat. Sometimes I fish fall and winter off the sides, or sides and back, or sometimes just the back. Just kind of depends on what the weather is doing and the techniques that I'm using. But I really like the fact that I can take this off the boat really easily. It's just 4 bolts, and then if I want to, I can take off the center section here of the Cat Rack and just kind of open this up so there's room to move around. So nice and easy to install and remove, and that's kind of what sold me on having a rod rack available on my boat, so I didn't have to always have it in the way and always be tripping over it and everything else. SeaArk put a lot of thought into this. It goes onto the boat, mounts into the SeaArk track rail system. So you just slide it into the track rail. You've got 4 bolts. You tighten those 4 bolts down, and it's on there and good to go. Comes off the same way. You just loosen those 4 bolts up, kind of wiggle it out, pops right out, take it off the boat, put it in storage, do whatever you want to do. They also have built the track rail system into the Cat Rack. So you have rod holder bases like these I have here. I'm using Driftmaster rod holders now. SeaArk has bases and rod holders. There's a number of different manufacturers out there that have different accessories and options available that will work for rod holders in the track rail system on the Cat Rack. Basically anything that'll work in the SeaArk slide rail system, SeaArk track system, is going to fit into the track rail on the Cat Rack. So that's it. You know, this is a great rod rack. I've really enjoyed having it on here. Again, I fish primarily in lakes and reservoirs. A lot of times fishing off the back of the boat does not make sense to me. So I love the fact that I can take this off and put it into storage or set it out of the way and not have it on the back of the boat where I'm tripping over it, having to fight with it when I'm not using it. And that's the only way that I would go with a rod rack. I'm going to tell you that I will never put a rod rack on a boat that I cannot quickly and easily remove and put back on like that, because again, I just don't use them all year round. There's a lot of anglers out there that all they do is really fish off the back of the boat, and it makes sense to have one of these on there all the time. That's just not the way I fish and the techniques that I use year round. So it doesn't make sense for me. So a lot of people have asked me also about you know, how this installs and the correct way to mount it. Evidently a lot of confusion about you know, how this goes actually on the boat. So the way I have right here with the rail on the top of the Cat Rack towards the consoles of the boat, that's how you're going to install the Cat Rack on your boat, not with the rail towards the motor. So you want the rail, slide rail in the Cat Rack away from your motor. You just put the side plates here into the fast track, kind of wiggle the bolts down a little bit so the heads go down in that slide track, and then just tighten them up with a socket. Make sure you don't over tighten them, but you want to get them in there good and snug, and then just, you know, give it a little tug, make sure it's on there good. I will tell you one thing that really helps with getting these on and off the boat, makes it a whole lot simpler, a lot less fighting, is if you'll loosen up the two bolts on the ends of this top rail. There's a bolt and a nut on either side. Just loosen those up a couple turns so you can move the arms a little bit, and that'll make the process of taking the Cat Rack on and off the boat a whole lot easier and save you a lot of frustration. So that, my friends, is a SeaArk Cat Rack, catfish boat rod rack. If you got questions about SeaArk boats, rod holders, rod racks, catfish boats, or anything else that has to do with fishing for catfish, just shoot me a message, leave a comment on the website, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. I'll try to get back to you with answers to all your catfishing questions. Until next time, I'm Chad Ferguson, catfishedge.com.